If you're looking for ways to experience London with kids, you're in the right spot. In the next few minutes, we'll talk about how to navigate London with kids and cover some family-friendly activities and things to do here, which include urban farms, parks, museums, and more, along with what you can do before or after some of these. Hello and welcome. We are Sakshi, DJ, and little Pixie, and we share helpful travel and food vlogs from London, the UK, and around the world. Hi there, and thanks for tuning in. So we've been living in London for almost 2 years now with our little one who's now almost 4. In the recent past, we've traveled with her to several destinations across the UK and Europe, such as to Barcelona, Amsterdam, Athens, and more. It's based on this experience that we can say that whilst London has a lot to see and do, it can be overwhelming for some. So it's best that you go prepared, especially if you're with kids. Just a disclaimer that what we are sharing is based on our own explorations, so consider this as part 1. Secondly, this video is going to be more relevant for families with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. With that said, let's begin. Before we get into the activities and things to do, we'd like to spend a few minutes talking about the basics. First is stroller friendliness, and second is navigating London on various modes of transport. So generally speaking, we rate London average to poor when it comes to stroller friendliness. That's because several of the pathways are cobbled, and in places where you do have a walking path, some of them can be very uneven, which makes pushing a stroller a bit of a challenge. Besides, at several tube stations, or in other words metro stations, they don't have elevators, so you have no choice but to take the stairs. An easy way to identify if a station has elevators is through the wheelchair icons on the route map. But if the stations do have elevators, you may have to walk a lot and sometimes take multiple elevators to get to the platform. So our suggestion would be that you carry a lightweight and easy to fold stroller. And if you're with infants, carrying a baby carrier would make touring around a lot easier. Secondly, it's not always easy to find baby changing toilets at the tube stations or when you're out and about. So make sure that you always carry a changing mat and some Ziploc bags for dirty diapers and clothes with you. On the bright side, children under 11 years of age travel for free on all London transport services, which includes the tube, buses, and Uber boats. Now, let's quickly talk about taxis. In London, you will find two main types: the black cabs and the ride-sharing cabs through apps like Uber and Bolt. On both of these, kids under 3 can travel without a car seat but in the rear seat. And for kids who are 3 years or older, should travel in the rear seat with an adult seatbelt on. And now let's get into the activities and things to do. If this is your first time in London, you might want to start with a city tour. And for this, we suggest taking a boat tour, also known as a river cruise, instead of a bus tour. A bus tour is a relaxing way to enjoy the sights with a running commentary. The boats are spacious with lots of room for kids to move about, and there's also toilets on board and some food and drinks options too. Now there are various boat tours available in the £15 to £22 per person with discounted rates for kids. We took the one from Westminster to Greenwich, as you see several landmarks along the way, such as the Tower Bridge, the Tower of London, the Millennium Bridge, and more. Once you get off at the Greenwich Pier, you can then walk to the Greenwich Market for some shopping and food, and maybe to the Greenwich Park afterwards for some relaxation or to have some fun in the children's playground. Speaking of parks, there are so many in London, and this is second on our list of to-dos, which of course is free of cost. The parks are enjoyable across various seasons. For example, in the summer, you can enjoy boating, ice creams, and picnics. In the spring, it's beautiful with cherry blossoms and all other blooming flowers and foliage. In the autumn, the changing colors again are so pretty to look at. Of the popular parks, we've been to Hyde Park, Greenwich Park, and Regent's Park so far, and all of them are lovely. Besides, the parks here usually have wonderful playgrounds, so it'll be all the more fun with kids. And there are usually one or more cafes in the park too, so you and family can grab a bite and take a bit of a breather in the tranquil setting. If you happen to visit Regent's Park, you can consider combining it with a visit to London Zoo, which is located in the park itself. Of course, you'll have to purchase tickets to enter the zoo. You can be spontaneous and buy the tickets on the spot like we did, or you may check online and pre-book as there may be some deals and discounts running when you visit. We think that admission to the zoo is pricey, as most things in London are. Overall though, the zoo is quite nice. It's spread out with several zones, and our little one and us enjoyed spending time in the Africa zone and India zones the most. It houses playgrounds and cafes too, and the kids will most likely enjoy it there. But if you've been to zoos elsewhere, then this one is skippable in our opinion, mainly due to the pricey entry fee.
Yummy! Yummy! Yummy!
Some of you may be surprised to know that London is home to several urban farms filled with cute animals to see up close, and most of these are free of cost. You also have the option to purchase animal fodder and hand feed the animals, creating an enjoyable experience for both kids and adults. Some farms may offer hands-on experiences with animals too, such as grooming or walking the animals. We have been to the Mud Shoot Farm in Canary Wharf, which is quite spacious given how close it is to the financial district. Before or after, you can take a walk along the waterfront in Canary Wharf, enjoy the skyline views or some food and drinks. Another farm that we visited with our little one is the Surrey Dogs Farm. Although this one is small in size, it's still a nice one to visit. Before or after the farm visit, you can leisurely walk along the Thames path that's right outside the farm and enjoy the riverside views. These were just a couple of examples, but there are many such farms across the city, and you can search for the ones closest for you to get to. As you might know, London is home to several museums. Now, museums may not be very interesting for the little ones per se, but several museums run activities for kids in different age groups that you can look up on their website, for example, at the site of the British Museum. So that's one way where you can do both, tour the museum, but also include something engaging for the little ones in between. Most museums also have a cafe inside, so you can always take a bit of a break during your visit. But here's where it gets interesting. Some museums have a dedicated section designed especially for kids. For example, in the National Maritime Museum, you have the Ahoy Gallery, where children can enjoy some nautical-themed sensory play. There's a nautical-themed outdoor playground as well, which should be fun for kids, especially when the weather is good. This is a free-to-visit museum in Greenwich, and you can consider combining this with other activities in the neighborhood. Make sure to book the tickets in advance. Even though the museum is free, you still need to book your slot through their website. The Natural History Museum, of course, is very well known. We took our little one here when she was about 2.5 years old, and while she was too young to appreciate it fully, she was still quite engaged in the dinosaur-themed section and was able to recognize other animal skeletons too. This again is a free museum, but make sure to book your slot through their website. Also try to avoid school holidays and weekends if possible, as it can get really busy then due to its popularity. Another one we'd like to suggest is the Young V&A Museum. This is a museum wholly dedicated to children. It offers various interactive and sensory activities for the little ones that are spread out in the different galleries or zones. Moreover, there are several exhibits of games, toys, and other knickknacks designed to inspire new ideas and spark creativity. This is also a free museum and no prior booking is needed. But this is not it. There are even more kid-friendly museums in London that we are yet to explore. A couple of them in our want to go list includes the Science Museum and mudlarks at the Museum of London Dogs that could be of interest to you too. And finally, let's talk about theatre shows. As you know, London's West End is renowned for its theatre scene, but most won't allow young kids into the venue. This is because of long running times and loud sounds that may cause distress to the younger ones. So you can assume that most mainstream plays will not admit kids from 0 to 2 years of age. However, there are some mainstream plays that do allow all ages, and then there are some specific ones tailored to kids of different age groups. So it's best that you always check the recommended age group and decide accordingly. Besides, there are specific theatre groups aimed at kids, such as the Unicorn Theatre, the Polka Theatre, and the Little Angel Theatre. They specialize in bringing theatre to all age groups and hold year-round performances throughout the UK. To make it easier for you, we have included their website links in the description from where you can find out more. And with that, it's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and if you have more questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.